was he did just put like pipes in a room. His exhibit is like a pipe in a room, but it's slightly at a curved angle.
Oh, you're talking about
It
actual
means
like
nothing.
pipes rather than a smoking pipe or something.
Yeah. It was a piss take. It really was.
Oh no, sound alerts needs new permissions. I don't use you, sound alerts. Go away. I never have used you.
I was thinking of resetting that, but I need some things to put in it that, like, I just don't remember. I had a great idea for it the other day while I was playing Kingdom Hearts. I just can't remember what it was.
I can't remember either.
Think you've seen that video? See, I love those moments where it's like, Sheeper's not crazy. Sheeper's not crazy.
I mean, Sheeper is completely crazy.
Fuck you. What are you, my doctor?
Yes. You've been you've been here for 25 years. You still think you're a sheep. We're desperately trying to stop you from thinking you're a sheep. You are in fact a goat. Stop eating the pillows.
Claws a guy to death.
I like how you think that sheep have claws.
No, but I do.
It's the sheeper claws.
It's a weird trade-off in Isaac that some items just make you more fucking effective while you're on low health. It's that berserker thing of like, do I really want this because it's gonna kill me?
Yeah, it's like if you got the right build, this thing can make you practically invincible. But if you don't have the right build, you are going to be screwed over by this item.
No, you can still see your character, Cherry. You have to acknowledge it eventually. You have to. Ready? You want to do a Hunter Chronicle? The Order of the Rose. I hate them, but they feel fun to mess with. What's a Hunter Chronicle? Explain like I'm stupid because I am.
Same world as Vampire, but they have like different systems for different things. There's Mage, there's Hunter, there's Vampire, there's Werewolf.
You know what can't not be talked about? The sheer disrespect that it looks like people keep fucking putting down on the Vampire series. You know what I mean? It's like think about all the games you've seen on Steam that have the Vampire like name to them.
Yeah.
Vampire Masquerade name, and they're all just like garbage cash grabs that no one fucking played because they were terrible. I say, what are we fucking doing? Isn't this supposed to be like a really good series? Why are we disrespecting it like this?
I've only played one of them, which is the original like Vampire the Masquerade. I think Bloodlines.
Spooky. Yeah.
And it's fine. It is really janky. It is really janky, and it's one of those ones where it's one of those like stupid internet legend things of whenever you mention it, someone is currently reinstalling it. Because it's like one of those, it's like, it is fun. It's just incredibly janky, and there are better games out there, but for what it is, and how old it is now, it did a really, really good job of being what it.
Up its own universe.
Yeah, so it's like it has all the lore in there. You can be all like, from the different clans. It's got some things set in there, so different clans obviously have their different like people they talk to for like certain parts of the quest. Because obviously the ones that's like big magey.
Actually respect vampires.
Yeah. There's also the fact that if you play as the Malkavians, you can have an argument with a stop sign. because they're the ones that are completely insane. They walk up to a stop sign and they're like, "No, I'm not going to stop," and they just keep talking to themselves, telling the stop sign no until they eventually walk away. It's one of those like lol so random things, but it is actually in character for the Malkavians to be completely loopy. And then you've also got things that occasionally you will start hearing whispers that are actually talking about the plot. Like when you're talking to someone who is a liar, who you don't realise is a liar, you might actually start hearing the voice just go, "He's not telling the truth," or like, "He's lying to you." It's just got that like weird thing in the back that if you're playing it for the first time as a Malkavian, which you shouldn't do because it's so fucking difficult if you try doing it without knowing what you're meant to do. Because some of the Malkavian
Nosferatu.
No, I'm never playing as a Nosferatu. That's really hard.
It's really funny. You can't like go out in broad daylight because you're a freak.
I tried. It was really difficult.
You just sort of like fucking struggle. Oh, there goes Satan on this floor. This was going to be the floor that offered us angel deals as well, I bet. Yo. Should have come in here first.
Okay, that looks like a good reference for Pirate Pants.
Phineas Pehemaris.
Yeah, for Phineas.
Pirate Pants Pehemaris.
Yeah, we would be D&Ding right now. But someone has friends outside of the internet. Someone who's a VTuber has actual friends outside of the internet, and quite frankly, I don't believe it. I think he's lying to us. I think he is actually lying to us, and he is just like masturbating in the corner.
Yeah, the
whilst playing Cameron,
fucking ugly vampires.
Whilst he's playing Cameron's prison.
He's not playing that. I never bought it for him in the end. He was I kept up my I'm rich bit, and he was like, "No, I wouldn't want that first." And I was like, "Okay, what would you want first?" And he was like, "I don't know, like the Resident Evil games." So I bought him the Resident Evil games. I was like, "Hey, do you want Karen's prison?" And I'm straight up not gonna buy it for him now. I want him to say yes, and then I'm not buying it for him. That's where I'm at with this bit now.
There have been a couple of times where I have actually really thought about, for a laugh, just buying it for him. Just like I was tempted on his birthday to buy it for him.
I need you to understand he used a fucking excuse on us. I only wanted to play it because it was an RPG that everyone said was good.
Yeah, sure. And the big tits weren't anything.
The more I think about vampires, the more I would like to play one at some point. But then I feel like I'm gonna get compared to that fucking character from fucking Baldur's Gate. Ugh. It's the fucking like character logic that I had to grow up with when I like, because in real life I've got named Sebastian, right? When I went around school and stuff, and like people found out my name for the first time, they said, "Oh, like the crab." I was like, clearly not. I'm not speaking with a fucking like Jamaican accent. Clearly not. I'm not red and like 4 inches tall. Clearly fucking not. Oh, you're exactly like that. Like, no. I'm playing D&D, but I'm playing as a vampire. Oh, so you're playing you're the guy from Baldur's Gate. It's like, no.
No, I actually I have an actual character. That isn't.
I have actual character. My personality isn't that I'm a fucking whore.
My personality isn't I was about to non-consensually bite you and turn you into a vampire in your sleep.
He got killed from me at that exact moment.
Good.
I don't tolerate that. You could be a vampire and I'm not gonna judge you, but for fucking second, that you try and bite me without my consent while I am sleeping, you're dead. Honey, you're dead.
Yeah, that
Like,
is
you did not establish consent with me. Like, why
yeah,
do they think that anyone would like this Why does anyone like this character?
because he's like got some comedic lines, and the person that does the voice acting is really good at portraying him. It's like, yeah, the voice actor is good, but come on, the character himself is an absolute piece of shit. It's like coming back to Vampire the Masquerade, the game. One of the characters in there is voiced by the person that voices Bender from Futurama. He is a very good voice actor. He's a good voice actor, but, well, I say he's a good voice actor. He has one voice, and it's Bender. Because as soon as you play that game, you're like, oh my god, you're Bender. Because it is just Bender's voice. I know you. I know you. You've got the same voice as the other thing that you voiced. But the character themselves...
It's like, do you remember High on Life?
I never played it. I never wanted to. But yes, I know of it.
I was like, hey, I noticed this is Rick and Morty. He can only do the one voice. Oh, I wonder how that game's been selling after, Morty, my wife Morty. Morty, they got rid of me, and the new voice actor is not that great. Like, there's a lot of people who could do really good, like, Rick impressions. Why didn't they get those? Blink.
Yeah, I mean, why didn't they hire you or Finn? There's a reason that bit just...
we didn't do that episode yet. We hadn't really put out our acting reel, you know?
Do you think Finn deserves a cape? Do you think he's that kind?
I have to ask Finn that question.
No, I didn't say do you think he wants one. I said do you think he deserves one?
No, but, you know. He might get one.
They might get one. I mean, I don't know how good it looks, to be honest. Should give them the full vampire collar.
Oh, what?
That would actually be kind of funny, just giving Atira the full, like, really huge collar.
I give Atira most likely to become a vampire. I give the whole party least likely to encounter one.
No, I can't continue on this line of adding the collar because it just looks so silly. It looks so silly.
Thank you for the follow. My cock hurts. Welcome on in. That's exactly how that name is supposed to be pronounced. 18 Naked Cowboys. You know, I've still never seen a Ram Ranch video.
Oh, you haven't either. And I
see it referenced. I understand it's some gay-ass cowboys. I've just never seen it. My ass straight up ain't got around to it. Of all the memes in the world, I simply haven't done it.
I don't go hunting for memes. I assume that if it's good enough, someone will show it to me.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's not a good meme. If someone hasn't sent me the meme, it's not a good enough meme to be sent. Therefore, is a shit meme.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of in the name.
That's kind of the point. It's a shared idea. It's mimetic.
Get the fuck out of here, monster. Why are you so fast? Calm down. Are you a champion? Stop that. No.
No.
I'm gonna get hit by the first one. I'm not gonna get hit by the seventh. Stop.
No.
No. the fuck is gonna send you a gay music video? Like everyone? What are you talking about?
If you knew the circles of people we are around, I mean, Seb, if anyone was going to send it, Seb would have sent it to us.
I surround myself with introverts. I don't surround myself with extroverts. I surround myself with perverts. Heidi, fingers crossed angel deal. Oh, I'm just gonna do this in events because I don't trust myself. See, I would have probably got hit now. Sounds like an orgy? Nah, orgies are too much effort. Too many fucking people.
True. They are people and they are fucking and there are too many. But, you know, I am biased.
I am not seeing any Satan deals. Now, the thing about orgy is, like, in the bedroom, I like to work for my partner's pleasure. If I'm like in an orgy, God, how many fucking people do I have to work for? Like, nah, I'm good. I'd simply not. Oh, I'm dead.
I mean, the only good part is, you know, with you being your pillow princess yourself, is you can just kind of like lie there.
Yeah, but it just feels lazy after a while, you know?
Well, I mean, it is, but, you know. Kind of the point. I hate drawing, guys. Especially when I've looked at the reference of the thing I wanted to draw the eyes from, I'm like, I could draw those, and then I try and I don't.
Pop. Pop. Here.
What are they?
This run? I mean, it's interesting you say that after I died. Mr. Using stream delay over here.
What if you win this run?
I don't think I've ever won a run in my life. Do you remember in school when what was that fucking? There's this activity. I swear to God, I remember them making us do.
Cross country.
Is cross country the one where you have to tag out halfway through and make someone else do it?
Oh no. Cross country is when they're like, you're gonna run this long distance. Fuck you. We don't care if you have any injuries in your legs. You're not running. We're gonna shout at you.
So I once it was this like I wish I could remember. I'll have to ask Joshy if he went through the same, but Joshy's school was a lot weirder than mine. We had to run like 100 meters in one direction, and we tag out, and someone else runs the other 100 meters back. Relay race?
I think I know the one. Yeah. Well, relays.
That sounds about right.
Relay races tend to be you follow the track, so like you'll do one lap and then you'll pass a baton on to the next person.
Oh yeah, we didn't relay anything. I think it was like a I want to say this was like just testing the students, you know. You know what the sad part is? When I was a kid, I used to be like really, really fucking fast. Like me and my friends, we were Sonic fans. You know, we wanted to be fast. We would frequently run. But getting into like this race, we came like fucking. I don't know. We were like fucking 8 seconds behind our opponents, and it was crushing. It was crushing. Honestly, maybe this is why I'm such an unathletic piece of shit now.
I was never great with sports. I could throw a javelin really well. And I was good at throwing a shot put.
What is the deal with that little sideways walk that you have to do when you're carrying a javelin?
The kind of hop to the side. I think it's because it's like if you try running forward, your shoulder isn't at the right angle to be able to get the most out of the throw, so you have to like bounce sideways at the end so that you can realign your body to get the good like throwing angle.
Uh-huh.
It's the same reason why when you use a bow you tend to be like facing slightly sideways, because you need to be able to draw the string back to be able to release it at the longest distance, and that means across your body rather than like away.
We were like far too young to be learning that shit. Not like, oh, this was really like advanced for us. Like, no, but like we did javelins once and they never taught us it again. And the first session the guy was like, no, you have to run like this, and never explained to us why.
Yeah. We had like, I think we did more shot put than we did the other two. We did shot put like 3 or 4 times. Discus I think we did once, and it was really fucking shit because it was just not explained how you meant to spin properly. They just said, "Oh, you spin and let go," and it's like, okay, but how do you aim? Just let go at the right time. It's like, when is the right time to let go? Because we're currently dizzy while spinning around, and you haven't explained where we're throwing this heavy object where there's houses nearby. We don't want.
Lie to you, I think the kids in our school were more cautious than the fucking teachers about this shit.
Yeah. I mean, the worst thing I remember with the javelins is we did it so close to the school fence. If you just happened to have a really good throw and someone was walking past at the time, you could have killed a bitch.
Yeah.
It's like
why were javelin teachers so down to let us just kill?
It's like they were assuming that we were all going to be really bad at it. Whereas if you look at like how far an actual javelin can be thrown, it's like that could have landed in someone's garden if one of us managed to get that by accident, or if one of us just like had, because there were a couple of the people there that had really strong arm and back muscles.
One HP down.
So like all it would have taken is for one of these people with the really strong back and arm muscles to give it their best shot. And it could have landed in someone's garden and possibly skewered a puppy or something. And what were the teachers going to do? It's like, are you going to be expelled from school? It's like, come on, you told me to throw it in that direction. It's not my fault you didn't give us enough room.
Yeah. You want to make a racist villain, but like the type where he hates the people from a few towns over. I think that's xenophobia.
Yeah.
I think that's the word you're looking for there. That's very common medieval shit. It's like, fuck that town directly over that hill.
To be honest, that's not even medieval shit. That is current day shit. Granted, for the most part, it's usually based around football teams and sports teams these days.
Yeah, it's like we have the exact same fucking like teams.
Yeah, it's the thing. It's like if you go into a town and you say, "Oh, I like such and such," and they're like, "Oh no, I'm sorry, but we actually go we follow so and so here," and you're like, "Oh no, so and so shit," you're probably gonna get beaten the shit out of. It's like if you go into Sheffield and say, "I like Arsenal," you're probably going to get stabbed.
No. Unlikely.
Well, I'm I'm using the like state,
city, not one of those scummy little small cities
like London.
Barnsley. If you go to Barnsley and say like, we support Sheffield Wednesday, you'll get stabbed.
Yeah, Sheffield Tuesday.
You'll get
It's
stabbed,
Sheffield
and
Monday.
cops will piss on your body. But they would have done that anyway because they're cops.
And then they'll get in the TARDIS and not actually be a police person for like God knows how long. Yeah, did you remember that one person in Doctor Who was meant to be a cop? Apart from the first episode,
sort of quit the force.
Yeah, apart from that one first episode where she's like, I'm in the police," it never comes up again.
It's okay. A lot of things in Doctor Who just never come up again. It's a badly wrote time travel show.
It's terrible. And we can say that because we've watched a bunch of it. And we stopped when we started getting bored at like season 3, was it?
Season 4.
Was it 4? Fucking hell, we got through more than I thought. Because
I'm sure it gets good, but I'm also sure it doesn't.
Because at one point we were going to be doing the like little mini reviews of each of the serials from early Doctor Who, and we did the first one, and it was like the first one was kind of fun, and then we started watching the rest of them.
Become really bland.
Yeah, apart from the one where they accidentally give Nero the idea to burn down Rome, and also almost accidentally poison Nero before he gets to do it. That was a funny episode.
Based, honestly.
Because
Doctor Who jumped the shark in the first season, I'm going to tell you that, though.
Yeah.
And then everything else was just downhill ever since.
I mean, the worst part about it is apparently started out being meant to be being educational. As in, you go to the future, and you have Ian there to explain the scientific concepts behind some of the things the Doctor's talking about. You go in the past. And you've got Barbara to say, "Oh yes, I remember the Incans, blah blah blah," and they did do the was it the Incans that they went to? I think it was the Incans, wasn't it? I can't remember which one it was. But they went back.
That's their own fault for being ignorant.
Yeah, but they went back, and we were expecting it to be very racist. But for the time, it was actually done relatively well. They were explaining things like this was their culture, this is all that they knew. Of course this is what they were doing. They aren't barbarians, this is just normal for them. And we're like, oh,
yeah,
okay.
When it had the thing of like yes, they were white actors playing non-white characters. However, the entire episode was basically saying like, so what if human sacrifice is like barbaric to us? This is the way these people lived. Leave them alone.
And I think one of the
kind of surprising.
I think one of the first things we said is, okay, so what colour makeup do you think they've been put? Because obviously early Doctor Who was black and white, so you couldn't tell. So for all we knew, it was green face paint that made them have the right colour skin tone on camera. Because they could mess around with the colours to make it look better on a black and white camera. Because didn't you say that the original like TARDIS set was pink or something stupid?
I don't remember.
Because it looked better on camera than having just a plain white set, which is what it was meant to look like.
I scarce remember.
Which, if true, really interesting idea. You know, I never thought about how they would do that kind of stuff with black and white cameras. Because obviously we just see it in grayscale these days and don't consider what they were having to do behind the scenes. Because with us, it's a camera, just turn it on and it's coloured. It's there. We don't have to think.
I was watching this video on the history behind like cinema, you know. And like some of the fucking tech methods that they had to go through back in the day was so nutty, just to produce like honestly almost mediocre stuff sometimes. Like, did you know one of the first like films that was ever made was called Cat Boxing? It was just a stop motion film of cats boxing.
I know that one of the earliest ones that we've lost was a flea circus, which was a stop motion animation that someone made using actual fleas.
We've lost a lot of old cinema because actors used to like be so rich that they'd buy their own tapes and burn them. Just for fun.
I mean, there's also the fact that
it was just a thing they did for fun.
There's also the fact that back then they didn't think anyone was going to be interested in keeping it, like we are these days.
The Lighthouse of Alexandria knew that its works were important when recorded. Not library. No, I get sad when I lose a VOD because I forget to upload it. I pay for Twitch Turbo. It lets you keep your VODs for 2 months instead of the standard one. So I kind of do just put it off for a while.
I don't pay for Twitch Turbo, and I don't have to worry about it because I barely have any VODs.
But anytime you watch someone you're not subscribed to, you're gonna get an ad.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't watch many people that I'm not subscribed to.
Can I have all of your money?
No.
A bit of your money.
You already get my Prime.
Okay. I'll take it. Can we shake on it? Stop
I mean,
shaking you. It's my unique business strategy. I say we'll shake on it, and then I shake the other guy to death. I do consider being like a CEO, right? Like how weird it would be. I'm gonna put on the Atomic Heart OST again, even though I know it goes a little intense at times.
But I don't have music running. I am just literally here drawing whilst listening to you.
I'll put on some Atomic Heart OST because background noise is always good, I think. An Atomic Heart makes good background noise.
How did I fuck up the eyes of this? A lot. I just really fucked up the eyes. That's the problem I had.
I get to drawing the face, I get to drawing the eyes, and then I fail, and I'm like, nah. Yeah, I had to, I've been commissioning a character, right?
Yeah.
You've been seeing them in my, like, Telegram, you know?
Yeah.
They're a little funny to me. I had to, ask Remy during the draft process to change, like, a lot of stuff about him. And I feel bad about that, because Remy did everything right. I just didn't like the product at the end. I didn't feel like... not even that I didn't like it. I felt like this is not the character I had in mind. You know?
Yeah, it makes sense, though. I mean, that's kind of like part of the commissioning thing in general. It's... You do have, like, the difference between just, like, paying for someone to draw a random thing for you and commissioning is that commissions usually get, like, a notes part where it's like...
Can't choose your fucking AI art.
It's like, here's the, like, the preliminary sketch. What do you think of it? Is there anything you want us, want me to change? All that sort of thing.
Remy, right, is a really good artist. Really, really good. Otherwise, I wouldn't have kept, like, commissioning her, obviously, but... Like, I feel like I'm a really awkward commissioner. You know? Ah, shit. There's always something I forget. You know, you'd think I'd have turned that on after a while because, like, I keep forgetting to, but no. Like, I don't think we changed anything about Guth William. Like, at all. As we made him. We did not change anything about Dr. B. Did we change anything about OG William? No. Not a thing. But we are going to. We are going to. Candy William, not a thing. Nope. Which is crazy, to spend, like, hundreds and be just that confident with the work at the end. Without making a single change. But, like, this one character is, like, that is just something a little off. And it's just something a little off. And before I know it, I just feel like really obnoxious about asking for anything to change, you know? Did that software launch? Yes, it did. The commissioning process itself is scary.
Yeah, it is. It's also scary on the other end of it. Because I have taken commissions before, and it's like, someone is paying me money, I have to do a good job because someone has paid me for this.
Someone put their explicit trust in you.
Yeah. Because I have done a couple of things. I mean, you know, Zara the admin from from the chat we're in.
Uh-huh.
She's paid me for a couple of pieces, like good amounts of money, like 60, 70 quid, I think, in total for a couple of pieces. And the only reason I wasn't terrified was because she's like, no, I'm going to be happy with whatever you've done. I want to, like, support you. And I was like, okay. I mean, because I've even, like, done a couple of, like, random bits that weren't paid, that weren't as good. Because I'm like, it doesn't feel like you've got the same, like, incentive to, like... It's the reason why most of the shitpost things that I draw are still shitposts and not, like, properly done. Because like some of the things that I've drawn, like occasionally in like the D&D chat when we've been playing, like because something funny has happened and I've just done a quick 2-minute scribble of it. I could do it properly, but why would I?
Screen faster.
It's like, why would I like spend like 30 or 40 minutes drawing a frog sticking his head around a door, going, "You okay in here?" For like any other reason, because it's just a silly thing to do.
It's funny, it's silly. There needs to be no other reason.
Speaking of frog, here he is. I mean, unless you're watching my stream, you won't see him. But you know, here he is. I do need to age him up a bit. I do need to age him up a little bit. He is still like pretty young looking. He's like, this is what I imagine that like young druid Glean would look like. Yeah, I've got to like, I'm not being racist, but I've got to make them a bit more toady, because toads look older than frogs do. Because frogs are very smooth, toads have got the bumps. It's actually one of the defining features between the two. Is like the texture of the skin. But I need to work out a way.
You're not the worst type of commissioner. In the Warhammer community, there's loads of people who are like, I want you to do whatever you want with it, but I also want you to basically make me a Dark Angel, and then Pikachu face when the artist is like, I can't do anything I want if you want me to make you a very specific thing. Yeah, like, I give Remy a lot of creative freedom, and just offer, like, suggestions in that regard. I could never be a commissioner. I really couldn't. I have the most respect for artists. It sounds like I'm trying to fucking win a contest. No, I just like, I really respect artists, you know?
I respect them too, and that's because I draw. It's like, sometimes it takes me sometimes, like, probably 10 times the amount of time it would take a good artist to do a thing. And the difference is that they have, like, put in so many hours of practice to get to where they are.
We are at we're sort of at war with AI art in general, I feel like.
Yes, I do. I can appreciate it if you're doing it with stuff that you have specifically got permission to use.
AI art does not ask for permission.
No, because that's the thing. If you're like, you can like, there are some engines out there where you can put things in specifically that you choose to put in there, and it only works off those. So if you're working from stuff that you have specifically gone to the artist and said, "Hey, look, I'm trying to like train my AI thing a little bit to get some stuff out. I like your stuff. Can I put it in?" And if they say yes, which some of them do, fair enough, because you've gone and got the artist's permission. That is the biggest thing that I think a lot of people has. Well, yeah,
as an artist,
but yeah, that's the thing. You can simply say, okay, yeah, but I'm gonna have to like charge you for like usage rights, which is a thing you're allowed to do.
You have a lot more rights than you think you do, artists. But nah, yeah, like we're in this community, and there are some people in there who post AI art. Cheer, you always point out the flaws in it, which I respect. Me, I immediately try and just sort of like talk over them. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I'm like, anyway, this other thing. It's like, it's AI art.
But yeah, it's like I always love how in AI art they can't do such and such. It's like, have you noticed how the fabric?
This, huh?
Have you noticed how the fabric just doesn't fucking work?
What is that muscle? That doesn't exist on a person.
It's like, I never knew that the knuckles had abs.
It is a joke. But, like, I don't know, I feel like we're allowed to talk shit on AI. It fucking, like, steals. It does nothing new.
Yeah, that's
I
what.
respect AI art, and did you watch that Philip Zeba video by Mini Minuteman?
Nope.
So he basically dissects this fucking TikTok creator, right? Whose entire thing is like, what if there were aliens who lived underground or whatever, and all ancient people were actually really stupid, and a high-speed rail network, blah blah, you know?
Okay.
Halfway through his video, he finds a like one of this asshole's videos, right? Is it's just using AI art, and it's like, you would not believe it, but they found actual ruins in Antarctica, right? And then like not Philip, Mini Minuteman does this sort of like section where he's like going through trying to like find the source so he can prove that it's like stable diffusion, you know? And he eventually like tracks someone down who's like, yeah, this is definitely stable diffusion. Also, this is from like my book. The way that I use this is I use AI art to just like sort of like illustrate like sections of this fantasy novel. And it's like the way that he uses it is so like, I don't know, ethical. He also calls himself an unartist, which I kind of prefer the term of, because it's like, yeah, you're not really an artist, you're un-art. So, like, yeah, I do believe in such a thing as, like, ethical AI. Like, really, genuinely. It's just these fucking loser crypto bro hugging NFT pictures, like, intercoursing, like, weirdos. Who just make everyone, I don't know, repulsed by them.
Yeah.
Think I can, I'm just kind of curious. I'm gonna go for this. Oh, it didn't work. Okay, we died. Death till, no W's. But like, yeah, he uses a bunch of like these sort of. I think he'd be good for stuff like that, like again, unfiction, you know. Like, yeah, it'd be nice to get like a real artist to depict like expeditions to like the Arctic in the olden days, you know. But how are you gonna how's the average person gonna be able to like do that?
Learn how to draw.
It's not like a drawing thing though. It's like they would have to like mimic an entire like photo style.
People do it. I mean, I know that there was
People
one.
do it, but they've trained their lives for it.
No, that they work for Discovery Channel.
Do they?
Yeah, one of the big photos that was proof of the megalodon being real, being still alive and not extinct, which it is. It's definitely fucking extinct. It died millions of years ago. Stop it.
One by now.
It's a fucking coastal species. We would have been fucking eaten by it by now. But one of the pictures is like a German U-boat and a fin, and someone's like, look, by the shape of the size of the fin, and you can see the tail fin and the dorsal fin. By the size of this compared to the U-boat, we can see that this thing is like 35 meters long. And you look at it and you're like, no. And it was done by Discovery Channel for one of their mockumentaries on the megalodon. Because you know what, Discovery Channel used to be about
mockumentaries.
It used to be about actual documentaries on Discovery Channel until they realised they can get more like viewership by bullshitting and spreading misinformation. So they do that now.
What if Hitler was still alive? I remember that was a big one. Quentin Reviews, he did a video on like the History Channel now does like exclusively Hitler content almost. To the point where it's just kind of a bit weird. Like, why do you guys want to find Hitler so much? It's not so you can fucking see Kyle in front of him, is it?
Honestly, it probably would be for some of them.
But no, yeah, like I'm not an AI artist, and I would never use AI art for my projects. I can see there being situations where like probably incredibly poor fucking like creatives don't really have the option of affording an artist. But I would say in that case, like, I don't know, use an AI that's not a piece of shit, stealing thief, you know?
Yeah, I know that like one of the games I kind of like was called out for using AI art on the screen.
Which one?
It's called Keeper RL. It's like dungeon. It's like Dwarf Fortress, but you know, like a lighter version of Dwarf Fortress. One that you don't have to spend like an entire university degree to understand the mechanics of. It's a really fun little game and has some like good mods, and you can mod it yourself quite easily. Because I have. And it used to have, as far as I know, the image it used to use as its like main page used to be just an actual piece of art. And then at some point over the past few months, it's been changed to be like a really generic AI art thing. And it got called out on the forums. No one, we don't know. That's what the person on the forums was calling them out on. It's like, why? The old piece was really good.
Already had like good art. Why? Unless they stole the old art.
Yeah, if they stole the old art, then fine. But the old art was like pixelated. It looked like a really cool like, because obviously the entire game is pixelated because it's a top down like Dwarf Fortress like.
Dwarf.
So everything is like what 16 by 16 or 32 by 32 pixel images. So having it like a pixelated thing looked kind of like okay, it's fitting the whole like aesthetic of the game. That's kind of cool. And then now the AI thing is there. It's like, why though? I would prefer
Why
you just.
You need to do that.
I would prefer you having a black screen with nothing there apart from the options to click on than AI art.
It shows you gameplay.
Yeah, Factorio just has like parts of the gameplay in the background, just as little videos to kind of show you what you're going to be getting up to, which is as much as we don't like how the creator of it decided to be a bit of a bitch a couple of years back with the whole price increase when no one else did.
And then kind of stealing the best mod right now.
Yeah, stealing a mod and then spending like a couple of years creating it as a DLC when the mod still fucking exists.
Yeah.
Kind of not good.
Factorio feels like a fucking cockhead. Like
yeah.
Lad.
I mean, I've already paid for it, so I can't do anything, and I can't refund it because I have like 2,000 hours in it. I think having I think having 2,000 hours in a game is a bit over Steam's policy for a refund.
Oh, you can do it on diplomatic reasons sometimes, and Steam's okay with it. It was like, I don't remember what the game was recently, but it was a perfectly fine game, but everyone baby raged about it, and Steam was like, oh, okay, we'll give you refunds if you want. It's like, they didn't have to, but that's just Steam for you.
Yeah, I think it's like if a lot of people bitch about it, they're like, oh god, if we don't offer a refund for this, we're going to get negative press, quickly allow it. Because it's not like they're losing most of the money.
Yeah.
It's the original companies losing a bunch of the money.
I mean, they signed the Steam usage agreement, so...
Yep.
Never sign a contract! Never!
Especially with Sheeper, he will own your soul.
Oh. I've got fucking pentagram earrings. I'm not a good guy.
Pentagram or pentacle? Call yourself a witch. Pentacle's the one with the circle around it.
What was that like... do you understand what I mean when I say CW-like show?
Yeah.
There was a show like that, but it was about, like, witches and shit.
Charmed.
Was that it?
Which I think was actually from the CW.
Oh my god.
It was, like, a long time ago. They did a reboot, like, I think a few years ago, around, like, just before COVID, that was, like, you've got like the right reasoning behind why you're doing this, but why didn't you just make it a different show? You're only using. It seems like you're. It was one of those like reboots. It seems like they just wanted to have the name and then just like do the same thing again, but have like colored actresses and a lesbian as main characters. It's
I
like,
think one of the big things was like the show was trying to be I think it was trying to be like an answer to like the presidency at the time, you know? Because you had like a fucking horrible misogynist piece of shit in charge of like, you know, quote the free world, quote tiny island, America. Cheaper's a good guy, cool especially, bites you, jump a little. But it's just like a case of like, should we, you know? Spent too much time thinking about what we should do that we didn't do.
hmm. Because I grew up on the original Charmed, that it was a decent show for considering what else was around at the time. It was a decent show. And looking back at it, it was like actually pretty feminist because like all of the three main characters were women. They all had decent jobs. They all were skilled. They were all smart.
I feel like this is like if we revisited it today, we'd have the Buffy effect of like oh, this is horrible.
Yeah, going back at it, it probably won't hold up as well as it is in my head, but at least at the time, it seemed like very much, you know, they were trying to like even like the actresses like from the original show actually like spoke up and said, "Hang on, I guess we missed putting the feminism into our version when we did it 20 years ago." When that was like one of the whole fucking things.
That will absolutely be the case, though.
Well, the thing is, it probably was that at the time, it was as feminist as you could get on TV without, like, Harvey Weinstein flopping his dick on your face.
Yeah.
Because there was only so far that they could go, like, in the... Because this was, like, late 90s, early 2000s, I think, was Charmed. Same sort of era as Buffy. I think Buffy came first, and then Charmed followed a couple of years later.
Buffy came first, and Charmed copied. No, I'm joking.
I mean, kind of. It was Charmed was a chosen one type thing, but it was a family of chosen ones, like three sisters rather than just one. I'm sorry, two.
I fucking hate chosen ones.
I could understand. Chosen ones can work if you write them well. The problem is that no one does.
It was the power of three.
Yep, the power of three will set you free, blah, blah, blah.
I have a tree.
Because they were like, hey, you know that one Celtic symbol, the triquetra, that has three in the name and is like a symbol of three? Let's do that.
Let's co-op to dead religion.
Yeah.
I'm allowed to say that I live in the UK. Celticism here is not Celticism. We killed all the Celts.
Yeah, all the Celtic and Druidic faiths are here right now are Victorian revitalization. Well, what's the word? Reconstruction.
They are reconstruction, which is to say they have nothing to do with the original.
Yep, they have been kind of made up by people based on what was written down by Caesar, I think, of all people. Because they don't have like the original like Celtic and Druidic traditions were
not even that.
They were passed down by voice.
The worst part is these days. The worst part about it these days is they are just copying Lord of the Rings and shit.
Yeah.
They're copying Lord of the Rings and fucking Viking shit. And they're like, yes, this is our personality. It's like, honey.
And before anyone complains, I am actually a member of the Order of Bards, Ovates, and Druids, so fuck you. I haven't gone...
Before anyone complains, I was raised modern pagan, so fuck you.
I love the fact
that qualified to talk on this.
I love the fact that behind me I just have all of the course material for the first the Bardic grade, and I'm like, I'm never reading that. I started, and I'm like, you know what? I have better things to learn.
Yeah. No, modern day paganism and Celticism, it does not really exist in the UK at all.
Yeah, it's very much a the people that are around that do it. It's very much new age stuff that has like been sort of like co-opted
It's
around
hippie
to.
shit. You go fucking and you hug a flower. Like, I respect hippies and stuff. I like fucking naturist movements. But don't say you're a pagan, because paganism, Celticism, it died in this country. We killed it. Your ancestors, likely, in the UK, are responsible for killing all of the Celts.
Yep.
Actually, no, that's not true, because your ancestors got killed by the Normans.
Yeah, we worked this out like a few months ago, wasn't it? That like none of the original British people are going to be here anymore.
There are no British peoples. There are... We are amalgams of the cultures which came to this island to conquer it. And they succeeded.
Yeah, I mean there are
But
people
yeah,
that have
no,
like still got
Celts is
some
a
of the
piece of
DNA
shit.
of it, but the DNA is like really like watered down.
Anthropologists, right? They're constructing history. You know?
Yeah.
And they're constructing it with the pieces missing. Like, if we look at like fucking like Stonehenge, we're really still not sure. We're just hypothesizing.
Yeah, it's just we figured out it does a couple of neat things, and we're like, well, it kind of makes sense that it would be a calendar, since at a certain time of two times of the year, it does this thing with like the shadow, and it just happens to be that it always lines up with like the solstices. Therefore, the chances are it would have been something related to like festivals. But
Unfortunately, therefore, high-speed rail network.
yeah,
Never forget high-speed rail network. That's one of my favorite quotes from like the fucking Mini Minutemen. He was like these people who like fucking believe this shit. They just take like an A and equals B argument. It's like multiple pyramids exist across the world, therefore high-speed rail network. I just love that. It's like
it is just so
let's go
silly.
up a like what is it? Giants, Nephilim, Hollow Earth, fucking high-speed rail network. What do you fucking want? Like old peoples were smart. They were really smart.
Yeah,
They
and
were
the,
smarter than you.
and a lot of, I mean, we always come back to, whenever we talk about this topic, we always have to remind people that a lot of the reasoning behind these beliefs is racism.
Gosh.
Because back
If you have
when,
a family member who believes in ancient aliens or conspiracy theories like this, they are, whether they know it or not, being racist.
yeah, because when these things were first being invented, like random white people were going into the center of Africa or going into South America, and were finding incredibly intricate like archaeological finds. Like they were finding buildings that we have no idea how they would have done it with the level of technology. And so one of the first things that they thought was, oh, there must have been a civilization of white people here at some point, because that's the only
Yeah.
way that we could have these things. But then that got a bit too racist, and so they swapped to it must have been aliens.
No, they swapped to it must have been Atlantis. And then that was co opted by racists, so now they're using it was aliens. It is a long procession line of assholes just like parroting, like, I was aliens. It had to have been aliens. These people can't have been this smart, and they were literally just that smart.
Yeah, so
Like, there's a thing of what was it again? It was the quarry that like produced the stone that made the Great Pyramids of Giza, right? Is 10 kilometers away,
yeah.
right? So you got to ask yourself, how did they do it? How did they drag all of that shit so far away?
Off the
Seriously,
top,
do you have a solution?
off the top of my head, my first question would be: how close is the quarry to the Nile?
Exactly. They put it on boats.
And that is me being. I have no education in Egypt at all. I don't know anything about
They put it
ancient
on
arch.
boats. And
Yeah.
when they didn't put it on boats, yes, they really did just slide the rocks across the ground.
You've also got to remember that a lot of it is fucking sand. Sand is a lot easier to move shit on. They can use sledges for that. It's gonna have like better
Big
movement.
thing as well about like what was it? It's fucking ah, I'm trying to remember the exact thing. Oh no, you go ahead. Fuck it. Oh no, they use some of the evidence that they use these days to be like, oh yeah, they moved a bunch of this shit across like the sand by sliding it. Yeah, well, explain how we can't even do this with a JCB and stuff. And it's like they show someone putting like a big rock on the back of like a fucking pickup bed truck and it breaks. And it's like trucks aren't made for that.
Yeah.
Start like another big argument they use as well that I always find really funny is why don't we build them these days? Why can't we do it these days? It's like we can.
We can. We just
build a pyramid.
we can. It's just it's a lot of effort, and we don't have a king that's trying to like make a monument of themselves using like a huge amount of people.
The monarchs in this country try and make monuments of themselves.
Yeah, but the thing is, they also realise that if they say we want to make this giant pyramid, they are going to have the entire country go, "That's our fucking taxpayer money." No.
I love democracy. But no, yeah, like ancient people sure were stupid how they could like figure out all of these solutions with the technology that they had at the time.
Yeah. It's almost like they weren't stupid in the first place.
It was another thing that they really like to say is you know the tomb of
King
Khufu?
Tut.
Oh,
was it Khufu? Khufu is a. I was gonna say Khufu is a place, I think, not a.
It's both.
Oh, okay.
Pharaoh and place, I think. But they sort of like point to that, and they're like, well, why doesn't it have any like inscriptions inside of it and stuff like that? Why are there no decorations if this was the like tomb of their venerable like look outside for a start? For a start, look outside. Do you have any idea where you are? You know? You stood outside of the fucking pyramids of Giza.
Yeah, and
this is all the fucking temple this guy needs.
Yeah, you've also got to remember that the outside of the pyramids didn't look like that when it was made.
It didn't. It looked better.
It had limestone on the outside of it that's been eroded away over the past like 4,000 years because limestone can get corroded by rain quite easily. It happens in cities because of acid rain. It just happens quicker because of acid rain.
Sadly, Toto blessed rains down in Africa, so
yeah,
we lost a bit of the pyramids. And another piece of evidence they used to sort of like show that up is they show like another sort of like tomb of another later pharaoh, and it's like, yeah, there were thousands of Egyptian history between this. The culture changed.
Yeah. It's like at one point, Egypt was monotheistic, and then they weren't, and then they were again for a bit, and then they weren't again. Because
do you have any fucking idea how old Egypt is?
Yeah, it's like saying, well, hang on, why did someone in Iron Age England not use the same language as someone now? Because it's been 2,000 years, things have fucking changed.
Things tend to.
Yeah, time makes fools of us all and changes a lot of shit.
That makes the biggest fools out of fucking alien conspiracy theorists, I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think my biggest thing on why haven't aliens contacted us really genuinely, the universe is a fucking needle in a haystack.
Yeah. Or there's the other option of they looked and were like, you know what, maybe let's wait till they're not assholes. Yeah,
I think it's genuinely within everyone's economic interest that we all get together. You know,
Yeah.
like I think if a fucking alien race is smart enough to get here, they're smart enough to be like, "Hey, you got any minerals? We'll give you space travel. Come on."
Yeah, but the thing is, what will end up happening is that the countries will go, yeah, we've got that mineral under us, but no one else does. So, it's all or that technology you're going to give is all of ours, not anyone else's, because we're the ones with the mineral. And then a fucking war will break out over the fucking alien technology.
Nah, I doubt it. I just don't think that's gonna happen. Believe you can get the money to get the Sacred Heart? That's actually not Sacred Heart. I don't remember what that item was, but I'm pretty sure that's not Sacred Heart. It's quite the educational conversation. My mother was an archaeologist, and Cheery is a nerd.
Cheery has just been around a long time and has watched a lot of things about sort of debunking shitty conspiracies. I would highly recommend Trey the Explainer on YouTube, who is really good at like going through some of these things. He's I think the last I saw, he was working in a genetics lab. So he is
Science people go to science.
Yeah, he is a science person, and he's like done things like basically going through cryptids and going, this is probably what it actually was. Things like Mothman being a barn owl or a snowy owl, and then like people going, people like done responses going, but yet how do you explain the screeching? And then he just like plays a video of a mother owl screeching, and it's fucking terrifying. It's like, even though you're looking at it and you know it's an owl, if you imagine yourself being on a road in the dark near some woods and you hear that noise because you got a little bit too close to a barn owl nest, it would be fucking terrifying.
Yeah, and as an owl, I'd freak out if I saw a car.
Well, it's not even that. I think the original thing is they were this like Mothman was sighted because I think they'd gone to they'd been what seemed they'd been like what seemed to have been, I think it was a crashed it was meant to, I think it was actually like a meteor crashed, but a bunch of the kids in the area were like, oh my god, it must be like a spaceship, because that's what was on the movies at the time. So, first of all, massive bias because of what they'd been, interested in. So one of the like local parents was like, oh, okay, I'll take you and trespass on someone's land so you can go and see what landed. And whilst they were there, they saw a thing. Bearing in mind, this was like the 60s, so they didn't have the like 10,000 lumen torches we have now. They had the kind of torches you would have in the fucking 60s. So like extremely dim, not very good, really like low distance.
You described Mothman.
Yep.
Sorry, that's so mean. That's so mean.
But so yeah, you've got that. They went into there, and then like they went into the woods, and then there was a thing about like 6 foot off the ground that was a dark reddish color that had glowing eyes and screamed at them. And yep, and it's like when it came to like describing it, they were like, okay, so the top half, you've all said it's glowing eyes. Okay, it looks kind of like a dome shape. That makes sense. What was its legs like? And none of them got the leg details the same. Some said it didn't have any. Some said it had some kind of like gown thing underneath it. It was a bush. The barn owl was above a bush. But then over time, these like testimonies changed and got more and more like an alien. So that was totally legit when you change what your sighting of the alien looked like when you get media coverage of it, and you want to get more media coverage. Not that I'm being biased.
Like a big alien creature. Stuff like Big Jim's today, and you can ask him the full story.
I mean, essentially, I think like originally, let's see if I can remember this. It kind of like looked like a weird like glowy eye thing that was like this sort of like weird shape thing, in like the original description sketches, and then it eventually was like a fucking like thing in a dome. Oh my god, the fuck is going on outside?
Do you even get anything for fighting angels for the third set of time? You actually don't. No, you just get to kill them. It's gonna be okay, Gim Gim.
But eventually, like, started turning into something that looked like a fucking Dalek. It started out just being like an amorphous blob with glowing red eyes. Hang on, let me add the red for like verisimilitude.
The fuck did you just say?
It very similar, like.
Verisimilitude.
Yeah,
Christ.
yeah, that is an actual word for it. But yeah, it started out as the one on the left, and it ended up being the one on the right after they kept questioning the people and after they had more time to talk to each other about what it was and like influence it more and more to look like an actual alien. But like I say, the Try to explain the videos, go through it. It will actually like go through the history of it, goes through like the eyewitnesses, says, you know, this is what the information was we've found about it. And then at the end it's like, okay, so this is why it's wrong. And then also in some of them he also has a, if it was real, this is what it could have been. And that's the bit I like. It's the speculative evolution part. It's things like, you know, evolution. Yeah, it's like, okay, so we know that Mothman lived in this area. You know, we know that there are similar things. So this thing must have been at least 6 foot tall because, you know, it like was about 6 foot off the ground. So what could it be? What would have glowing eyes on the top of its head or like the front of its head? And so he goes into like describing this like slightly red-headed salamander species that was like, because salamanders are really hard to fucking find because that's their job. They just sit there and do nothing at the bottom of a lake or river. So it's like, what if? It's like, what if, you know, Mothman wasn't a Mothman, but it was actually the first sighting of this like fake salamander. And so like they got the, you know, Trey had like done some like basic sketches and kind of like explained a bit of what the biology might be, and like linking it to things from around the area rather than just saying, well, it's a bat, isn't it, or like, whatever. It's like putting together like a little bit of a profile on what this thing could have been. And they've done it for like Loch Ness. I think in Loch Ness he says, what if it was like a species of giant leech? And the reason why it always looks like it has like weird humps is because there's like a couple of leeches following each other, rather than it being otters, which it is like pretty much otters at this point. They've done environmental DNA and there's no traces of any lizard DNA in the entire of Loch Ness. So it ain't a fucking dinosaur. Nessie ain't real.
Otters?
Yeah, otters. Again, for
Scotland?
Yeah, there are otters in Scotland. They're not as popular as populous as they used to be, but there are some there still. But yeah, because a lot of the time, like the reasoning behind like why people see Nessie is they see like these weird, like the 3 lumps in the water essentially, with the water around them. And if you ever watch, it works with otters and it also works with seals. They often go in single file. Even though they're swimming, they will go in single file. And so if you catch them at the right time, you will see 3 of them cresting the water at the same time, and it will look like humps.
I'm inclined to believe it was just a log.
But that's the thing.
People say it was just a drifting piece of wood.
Well, that's the thing. It could be all of these things. Because don't forget, the Loch Ness is pretty big. It's been like, I think, 50 years since it was first noticed in the 60s. There must have been something going on in the 60s, I think, for all this. Actually, was it the 60s or was it like the 40s? I can't remember now. It might have been the 40s, not the 60s, that this thing was seen.
I think it just comes down to like people bored back then, and science fiction was just up and coming as a genre. So everyone was like, I can create my own monster.
The one thing that I see, I can't remember if it was Trey that mentioned it or if it was someone else. But I've seen it mentioned that a lot of these things crop up when there's a massive social change of some kind. There's a massive social stress happening.
Well, that's just because Mothman is a harbinger of change. Everyone knows that.
I'm not even talking about just Mothman, but like a lot of like the big things that have cropped up. It's like things like Mothman and all those conspiracies. It was around the 60s. It was the Red Scare. It was communism being scary, spooky bad. And everyone like being really like stressed out and seeing things around every corner. Yeah, they were on edge. They were expecting something to be happening. And if you add that to, well, last week I watched a movie about aliens, and tonight I saw what looked like it could be a spacecraft crashing, or a meteor, but you know, it looks like it could be a spacecraft. I've gone to look at it, and then I've seen something spooky. You have primed your brain, without even realizing it, to see an alien, because you're thinking, crashed ship, aliens are a thing because of movies, and I'm really stressed. So if you, in the middle of the night with a really shitty light, see something.
I wonder what the modern version of this is today, because like a lot of people today are really stressed. I guess that's just conspiracy theories.
Yeah, it's conspiracy theories and stuff. They're like,
it's the assholes who watch fucking Ancient Aliens and believe that shit. It's like a fucking cult.
yeah.
Because
the
they
thing,
just prime themselves to believe like the world is really scary and I want some change. And it's like maybe the aliens will come and bring it to us.
Because
aliens.
Because the thing is, you got to remember that the reason that people get like stressed out about some of these things is because they don't understand them. So if you make something up to believe in, and you understand it now because you know, oh yeah, that's Hollow Earth. I understand Hollow Earth. That makes perfect sense.
Like, video games are the demons. Because everyone understood the demons. Everyone knows what Satan is.
Yeah.
So Satan is in video games now.
Well, no, even if you think about all the way back to like when things like the witch burnings were happening, that could well none of them were fucking witches. I mean, maybe they might have been maybe they were like herbalists and stuff like that, but they weren't like the witches that they thought. They weren't like dealing with the devil kind of witches. They might have, like I say, they might have been people that like knew that this herb cured a headache, but that was wrong. That was enough to get them thrown onto the bonfire because you didn't like them.
It was a scary new change of times.
Yep, it was scary. They didn't understand it, so they made up a thing that they understood more, which was it was demons. The Bible says they're bad, therefore they must be bad, therefore we kill them. Understandable. Have a nice day. Get on the bonfire.
Bill Gates is putting microchips in the vaccines because...
Yep, because it makes perfect sense for him to do that because he's going to make so much money off it. Somehow? Don't question it.
But no, he's doing it because no, give me a minute. He's doing it because he wants to control us.
Because he's
mass control.
Because he's a reptilian.
We know what reptilians are. We've seen Star Trek.
Funnily enough, I think some of the reptilian stuff must have been around in Lovecraft's day, because one of his stories, I think it's called The Mound, has some very big similarities with what the people that believe in reptilians believe. Race of ancient creatures that came before humans, living under the ground. They were vague. I think they were like vaguely lizardy, amphibian type look to them. They could like phase in and out of existence, and so they could walk through walls and stuff.
Lest we forget the most important part to Lovecraft is they were probably not white.
Actually, I think
it is just a core thing that you have to discuss with Lovecraft.
No, I got a feeling that originally the story I think is set in South. I think it's South America, or so like, as in like North America, the south of North America, so the southern part of North America, in like where they've got like weird like old mounds from like Native American.
You know,
that people thought
Not
it was
the
Native
second
American
story on
stuff
this has to
was.
be.
Okay.
My second question has to be: was it that they were the wrong type of white? Because H.P. Lovecraft was a advanced racist.
No, I think it was literally that these people were green
Okay.
because they looked like lizard people. They looked like
I think he
amphibian weird
insulted
people.
Lovecraft because he was scared of air conditioners.
Yeah, that was hilarious. Do I still have that on this sheet? I think I might. Or did I delete? No, I think I might have deleted it.
Chewie made some artwork of a really scary air conditioner.
I know I've still got the little frog.
Frog. I've finally accumulated a plan to make myself unlimited power on the next floor.
Oh, is that? Yep, there it is. There it is. Lovecraft's greatest fear.
Wait till he hears about like what we've got going today. He'd be like, the washing machine. Dude, you think Lovecraft would have been one of those guys who wrote hyper-realistic eyes back in the day?
Um, yeah.
The washing machine looked at me with hyper-realistic eyes.
I mean, that's kind of what the Shoggoth is. It's just a giant mass of ropes and eyes and mouths that disappear and reappear as they need to. It's fucking weird.
The working class. I amuse myself at least.
I wanted to go to my D&D folder. I need to see what's... Oh yeah, it was the weird magenta colour I'd used for Atira's face.
Magenta. You know, the sooner you make these, the sooner I can make the pixel art variants.
I mean, they probably will end up changing at some point, but I just want to get like I want to finish them. Because I'm spending so much time thinking about them and saying I'm going to do them. I want to get them done, even if they're shit, so I can get them done. Because if I can finish them, when I do the next one, I have something to measure my progress against, because I finished a piece. It's like, I know that the face, the new Atira face looks way nicer than the old one, because this time I used like a better reference image to go from. And like I actually tried to think about it a bit more. Yeah, this is, I'm gonna like, I think I might tweak Atira's like skin color a little bit to make it a bit more like skin tony. Also looks like Grimace now, I realise.
Can you do the Grimace shake, but it's not like the shake, it's just you give me a little wiggle?
If I did that, the earth would explode.
Oh, my apologies. Can you do it anyway for funnies?
And there the world ended. I'm so sorry. You can blame Sheepa.
For the content.
Yeah, for the gram.
Do for Vine! Remember Vine, right?
I know of it, I never paid attention to it.
Kids are gonna wake up in a time where they have no idea what Vine is.
Kids probably already don't know what Vine was.
Fair enough. Okay, after carrying this dice with me for almost half of the game, it's finally changed into something different.
Yay!
I'll never understand you, Isaac. I'll never understand you. We've got a strong build. We're likely going to at least kill the lamb. From Binding of Isaac, Wrath of the Lamb. Binding of Isaac 2. This time it's personal.
This time it's lamb.
God, can all games just get a sheep expansion? There's this cute looking game that's just come out on Steam called Happy Sheepies. Looks like just like a pretty casual sort of like crafting game. Where you herd sheep and make them craft and stuff. Probably pick that up.
Yeah, I like making all my sheep in Pal World do all the heavy labour. I remember when Pal World was a thing.
Kind of gave up on Pal World almost immediately, and it's only took me until this new game to realize why. Survival crafts just aren't fun anymore.
Yeah, the only thing that Pal World had going for it was like the Pokemon like mechanics, but once you kind of like played it a bit, it was just like playing Pokemon, and by which I mean dull. Yeah.
I mean, even Pokemon's like dull easy, you know.
Yeah,
Pal World's just dull grind.
Yeah, Pokemon is just how do we get like people to play our game for thousands of hours? Well, make it so that there's like a incredibly rare chance for this one thing to happen. Like the amount of people in the world who have played Pokemon and don't know they don't know about the Pokeross.
I once played Pokemon and got really sad because I'd never get a shiny. And I never got a shiny.
Yeah. Well, if you think shinies were bad, Pokeross had, I think, like 10 times the chance. Or 10 times less chance of appearing. It's basically a virus that can turn up in your Pokemon game, which benefits your Pokemon by making it so that their, I think it was their effort value stats raise better when you're fighting. And so basically, if you ever got one that had the Pokeross, you would want to like instantly imprison it in the PC, so that whenever you had like a Pokemon that you actually wanted to get it, you put them in the party together. You let them get infected, like a measles party. You put the one you didn't want back in the PC, so it's kept the Pokeross, and then you just like played with your Pokemon as normal. And eventually, when the Pokeross was cured, they would start getting this like effort point bonus, because eventually they would gain immunity to it and start getting a benefit from it. I on one of my games, I just fucking found it, and I was like, "The fuck is this little tiny smiley face thing on my Pokemon?" And one of my friends who also played Pokemon was like, "Holy shit, you caught the fucking Russ! That's like a 1 in 20,000, 1 in like 100,000 chance of getting that or something." I'm like, why? Why is it in the game? It has a 1 in 100,000 chance of occurring.
Yeah. That's so stupid.
It's like
I'm okay with things in video games having like a little bit of a drop chance to them, right?
Yeah, I'm fine with like a drop chance of saying like 1 in 1,000 if you're assumed that you're gonna kill a couple of thousand of these things as you progress through the game. Because that kind of makes a bit of sense. Because you're like, okay, just by sheer statistics, you are going to have one of these things drop for you. But when it's like a 1 in 100,000 chance in a single player game, and it only happened on like new Pokemon that you caught, so you might, even if you were like trying to catch them all, you're only going to get, even like with the newer ones, you're going to get like 700 or so catchers.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a good chance to get the Pokeross. Whoever first found it out and was like, oh, this is the reason why it happens and this is what it does, was like, how the fuck did you find this shit out? We thought, like, From Software was bad with how they did stuff, sometimes.
I mean, From Software is definitely fucking bad with the way they do stuff. I fucking hate them.
I mean, at the very least, I know that, like, the DLC for Dark Souls, whilst everyone was like, how did they do it? It must have been insane for them to figure this out. I found out there was actually a tweet, like just that. No, it wasn't a tweet. It was like a blog post on the website that detailed how to actually find the DLC and the steps you had to take. So it wasn't like a miracle thing that people found this like it was always made out to be. It was just people bullshitting and trying to make it sound more special than it was. Which is like the entire of Dark Souls to me. So it's a fine game, but you know.
They're fine games. I appreciate what they do. They fulfill
the
genre.
They fulfill the genre. It's not quite for me, but you know, I'm more than happy to accept that they exist. Don't try and make them out to be amazing.
not the best game ever made, I'll tell you that. It has so many faults that I will point out, and I'm only allowed to do that because I like that game. I can say with certainty, I hate a lot about it.
Yep, Elden Ring sure is a game. I have watched multiple hours of it because I don't want to play it myself.
Here on the Washiper channel, I'm sure.
And also on the Ginger Snapu channel. A name which always makes me giggle because it makes me say poo.
Alright, make a Satan time.
Oh my god, how could I forget? Aetira's eyes weren't white, they were black!
Like a doll's eyes. No, wait, that's white. I just want to let you know, Cheery. I'm currently just, like, shooting lasers at Satan and his 4 horsemen.
Yeah.
And the lasers are RGB.
Yeah, I'm watching. That is a rather large Satan. I would, in fact, call him Mega.
Yeah. He's alright. I've seen bigger Satans. People still try and unravel the Isaac lore. Like, that... Honey, there's no lore. It's just Isaac's depressed, his parents' bed.
Yes,
The lore of the Binding of Isaac can be summed up as Catholicism bad.
His mum...
also funny.
His mum went insane because of God and locked Isaac in the basement. Therefore...
that deep.
Yeah, therefore gameplay.
You know? Therefore, begin.
Let's take you, make you a bit darker because you won't be inside.
I'll say a lot of the boss fights in this game are a lot more underwhelming than I remember. Satan is just like, he's got like 3 attacks, and he also like summons a bunch of guys.
Yeah. Which, to be fair, is like 99% of bullet hell bosses. I think that is... I was going to say, I think that's probably the reason why that it feels underwhelming now going back to them, is because it's been done again multiple times by other games, and it's like, oh, that's cool, okay. What colour shirt should be under this? Because I don't want to make Aetira have like a visible belly button.
Ayo.
I mean, I could. Or at least a visible
belly button?
Visible belly, at least.
Wooga, calm down. Oof. Oh, how the fuck do I dodge that? I see.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time I've like made like really strange choices for some of these some of these character designs, because it's like just out of like habit, because I like art of like thick women. When I was doing the Andlith one, it just happened to turn out that she had really thick legs and really thick hips, and Elle was like, I like how you've done that. I'm like, I didn't mean to make it like that. That's just how I draw them. I'm not good with anatomy yet. That hasn't cropped up in the course yet.
Sorry, I got the delirium pull. Whee! The run is still going. Delirium's tricky because I don't want to fight Delirium first. I always want to fight Delirium as the last fucking boss in here so I can get, like, all the other items.
Yeah, yeah. I like how I have actually no idea what like delirium is and all that.
Uh, post Undertale boss, I'll tell you that.
Oh, was it actually? That's how recent it was. Okay. I think I
Yeah,
played the first Isaac expansion and then gave up because I'm like, okay, that's enough of that.
I'm never gonna 100, 100, 100% this game. That's cool.
There's just too much of it.
Oh, hi. Oh, I'm gonna die to you.
I mean, I can appreciate that they keep on adding stuff with expansions and things like that, but at the same
Yeah,
time,
still.
at the same time, you know me, I'm a cynic. It really does make me think: do you just not have any new ideas? You're gonna keep milking Isaac?
Here's the thing. He did have new ideas, but they kind of sucked. I'll tell you that.
Well, okay, there's my point. It's like you don't have any good new ideas, so you're having to keep milking the one thing you did that was good.
He made this game, I don't remember what it was called, Bumble?
Oh, okay.
You played as an Isaac character, but in a different setting. It was a card battler. It sucked. I remember people did not like that one. So it immediately just died. No more support for it. I simply need one teleporter, please.
Okay, at some point I need to draw a hand and a cutlass.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I hate hands.
That's why I gave up being an artist. I was like, you know what? Nothing about me will ever draw a hand.
The thing is, I can draw them. It just takes a lot of effort and like reference imagery, because hands are like the reasoning like behind it that I've like over the years. The furthest away from you, let me word this right. The things that are furthest from your life, you can't notice like the things you can't see the issues with as much. Like if I,
Cheery.
oh, yeah,
I got that lamp.
yay, no.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, I know you. Yeah, you told me earlier you got the lamp. You just hadn't plugged it in.
Oh yeah.
I was like, what, an Isaac lamp? Is this a different lamp than before? What? That's why I was confused.
No, same lamp.
But yeah, the thing with art, it's like if it's something you see every day, it's easier. Even if you're not an artist, it's easier to know when something's wrong. So if you're trying to draw a person's face or some hands or a human body, even if you're not an artist, you can look at it and go, something seems wrong. Even if you can't tell what it is, you know that something's off. It's got that the uncanny valley type feeling of like
with
some
AI art.
yeah, like with AI art, it's like something's off and I can't quite tell you why, but something is off. And then you've got things like, dogs and cats. If you try drawing those, it's easier to know that, at least for us in the West, because we have constant, everyone has seen like dogs and cats so much, we know what they're meant to look like. So if you draw it in something like the tail's a bit too long, or the body's a bit too long, something looks off. But then if you try and draw a hippo or a rhino that you rarely ever see in media, rarely ever see in your personal life unless you work at a zoo, it's harder to see where things are fucked up. Because it's not something that's sitting in your mental catalogue of I know what that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why hands are hard to draw, because you see them constantly every day from many angles as you're doing things with your own hands. You know what they look like when they're chopping things. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes just putting your own hand up in front of your own face and just wiggling your fingers, it feels wrong.
Yeah, it's just odd.
There's no winning. Just odd little wriggly, like many appendage digits.
But like the thing is, what you got to remember with hands is when you're trying to draw them, you've got your own hands as reference. You can make the pose you want with the hand and try and get it like as close as possible and take a photo, and then just like boom, you've got a reference image of exactly how you wanted a hand to look. So you have them right there. Most people do. If you're, you know, missing a hand, a bit more difficult, but you know, that's what the flip tool is.
Not impossible.
Not impossible, but you know, if you want a picture of a left hand, you take a picture of your right hand and flip it in Photoshop or whatever program you're using. But like I say, it's just if you try doing it without reference, they look wrong. I mean, even when I use reference, half the time they look like sausages because I haven't quite got how the contour lines work on fingers properly yet. It's like I did the ones for Clink, and I put gloves on her. I wasn't originally going to have gloves on her, but I put gloves on because it meant I could do away with the detailing of the fingers and just do like slightly tapered tubes, and it would make perfect sense.
Yeah.
And also, it would make perfect sense for her to have gloves on. She's doing dungeon stuff and whatever. And then we look at, you know, Gleen's fingers, and I'm like, oh my god, frog fingers are fucking weird. I'll do the best I can.
And them webbed air hands.
And I said I'll come back and do those at some point. I still haven't because, geez, I'm going to wait till I've done the easier parts, like the entire rest of the body first.
Rest of the fucking owl.
The fun thing is, I did actually find a book on Amazon that pretty much does the draw the other, you know, the rest of the owl. It's like a 4-stage process, and the first stage is pretty much draw the basics, and the second step is already there's a fucking owl there, and then it starts doing the detailing work. I'm like, how the fuck did you get from step 1 to step 2? You're a book on how to draw animals. How do you get from 1 to 2? Teach us how to draw the animal before you teach us how to do feather textures.
You have to teach us how to draw to teach us how to draw. It's not complex. Nice.
It's like at some point,
I love how late game Isaac runs are just fucking incomprehensible. Like something's happening and it's making me do damage.
Yeah, you walked into a room and stuff happened and you don't know which thing did what.
Enemies died. Enemies died.
Yep, that's all you care about.
Now, people hated this DLC, and I accept that hate, honestly. Like, the fucking DLC that just adds in, like, delirium and stuff. It's like, ugh.
See, I think
Isaac's in a death coma.
The annoying part about it is it suffers from the same thing that Vampire Survivors started to suffer with. The base game was a cool idea, and it was fun. It used up a bunch of my time. The first DLC was cool, and then I was like, okay, I'm over this now. I've 100%ed your game, go away. And then they kept on adding more, and more, and more, and more. And it's like
you gotta come back, but I don't want.
Yeah, it's like you aren't. This isn't like a lot of it wasn't even paid DLC. It's just we've added this to like the base game. It was like, why? Is it because you're desperate to people to keep on your fucking game? Your game is only worth £2. you once someone has paid £2, you don't care anymore. They've paid it for you. They have used their 2 hours allotment of time. They can't refund it. Don't try bringing them back constantly.
I'm not fond of the survivors likes.
The
I
deep
think
rock,
I've made it quite apparent on this channel.
the deep rock one isn't terrible. It's one of the better ones I've played because they do actually like make it like Deep Rock Galactic, with the fact that you can like go and mine gold and nitro while you're doing things, and they've reasoned it to you being on your own because they're like, okay, we don't want to send in a full team for this, but we're giving you access to a lot more fucking guns than normal. Because like at the end of some missions, they're like, yep, you're definitely proof that we can do this with one person as long as we give you enough gun.
Yeah.
And it's true. It's like if you have an engineer with 10 turrets lined around them and 3 other weapons that are constantly firing, of course you're going to win.
Gotta do the up, path, and hush. Okay. Before I get on that, I'm gonna BRB. This is me BRBing.
He's burning.
There you go, I'm in the BRB.
He's in the BRB.
What? Walking off.
He walked off, chat. He walked away. He left me here to fill the dead air on my own. Like I understand how to do this. Today is the first time I streamed in like 2 weeks, I think. And it's only because I was already doing this anyway, so I might as well. I really should have started like streaming when we were doing Deep Rock, but I didn't think I could be bothered. I'm gonna just do a screen capture of this. I know that Finn is currently, in his little boys only camping club thing. But I'm gonna send him this as a fun thing for when he comes back. I forgot the last thing I sent to him was made outfit Gollum. That is not the thing I wanted to send. It's not the thing I wanted to send at all. There we go. But yeah, just looking back at the weird things I've sent Finn. It was the point like a month ago when I managed to sort of get to the point where I understood what Klink's progression was going to be, and we just had like weird like shadow teleporting around kicking people meme. Then Finn sent the Seven Seas rap to me, which is wonderful. I sent him the first like really basic version of like a, what's the word I'm after? Animatic, for trying to make a version of the opening for One Piece, but based on the D&D campaign. I've given up that project for now because that is a lot of effort. Sent him a thing about horn shapes to work out the best one for Atira. Oh, he's alive. He's on mobile. So wherever he's camping, he has access. Yeah, then I sent him a prelim of what I was currently working on. Then I sent him last week I sent him the made outfit Gollum because for some reason I drew that. And then I just sent him the current one we've been working on. And I was just like, ooh, someone on Sheep Chance, one of Sheepa's friends went live, and it's me. I went live. Yeah, I think I'll at least wrap up my one. I have been streaming for an hour and 50 minutes and have gotten really, really nothing done compared to an actual good artist who could get what I've done in like 10 minutes, most likely. But, you know, I'm not going to put myself down. I am still learning. I am better than I have been. I'm going to be good. But I'm going to end my stream now and just carry on talking to Sheepa while I do other stuff. I just need to remember which these multiple browsers I have open. There we are. That's the one that has the raid on. Who is online that I'm following? Oh, look. Sheepa. Yes, I know that Sheepa's content is intended for certain audiences. I follow him. I'm talking to him right now. I'm going to do the raid with my one viewer, according to Twitch. Raid now. Goodbye. There we go.